This week's video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Well, good morning everybody. Just in time for a cup of tea. So we've come up to San Josef Bay, which is the north coast of Vancouver Island. I've been up here a couple of times, and I've come up here with Brian Barnham, who's never been up here, so it's good for him. And the unique feature about this area, there's some really cool pinnacles that I've photographed a few times. But for this trip, I've decided to concentrate more on close-ups than the grand landscape, because the grand landscape here is very hard. You need very specific conditions and lighting. And I mean, if we get those conditions, then I'll certainly do some grand landscapes. But on this trip, my expectations aren't huge. Talking to Brian, here he is now. Hello, young man.
All right, mate.
Brian got up really, really early. I'm not really sure why. Probably because he doesn't like people.
In search of those stars.
Were you?
There was a couple of stars, but it was a bit overcast, so we missed out on.
He's trying to do some astro. All right, so I'm just gonna have a cup of tea, and then I'm gonna head out. Right, be a bit careful around here because there's lots of fragile sea life, but I just love all the barnacles and sea creatures on the side of these rocks here, and I think I'm going to see if I can find some kind of pattern shot. I particularly like this section here because it's not just covered in shells here, it has a bit of rock behind it as well. So I'm going to see if I can get a pattern shot of this section here. Lots of anemones here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm using the 45 to 100, which I haven't actually used that much. It's a beautiful lens. The problem with it is that it's quite heavy. So ideally it'd be great to have just a wide angle zoom lens, and then the 45 to 100, and then the 1 to 200. And it actually focuses quite close. So that's a really nice feature of this lens. So let's see how this performs with this scene here. I've been looking along the shoreline here, and I really wanted to try and find something that showed a bit of the old growth forest, or the old forested areas, along with these amazing rock formations. And I think I found something quite unique. What's really nice about this scene is that there's some water in the alcove here. I'm not sure if it's from high tide, which I suspect it is. Or it could be a little stream coming down, but I think it's from the high tide. But it just kind of meanders through this alcove here, and then we have these old trees in the background with the rock formations. So it's just a matter of trying to find a composition that kind of works its way into the alcove, and I think I might have been able to do it. I have this rock down here. I have that as the foreground, leading us into the scene, and then we have these nice kind of, they're not really pinnacles, but little rock outcrops coming out with trees and shrubs growing on them, and then in the background we have the forest. So it's a really great little scene, and then the contrast of the water, which has this kind of a browny color, I think it works really well.
Once again, I'd like to thank Squarespace for supporting my channel and sponsoring this week's video. One of my favorite features of a Squarespace website is the ability to quickly and efficiently update a gallery or page, either from a desktop computer or while on the fly using the Squarespace app from my mobile device. Loading multiple images onto a page is quick and offers the ability to change a design or page quickly and elegantly without any coding knowledge. Want to sell your products? No problem. Setting up shop is also quick and intuitive. Sound interesting? Why not head over to squarespace.com and try it for free? And if you like what you find, use the code AdamGibbs for 10% off your first purchase.
Wow, look at the size of this beast. So this is a jellyfish of some sort. It's massive. It's got to be 1.5 meters wide, or just under. Incredible. You can see all the little tentacles around the outside of it. Really cool. This is a pleasant little scene. Certainly not going to blow your socks off, but I just love the smooth gradation in the sand here, because it doesn't have any footprints in it or any kind of marks. So I love those curves, and the sand is kind of curving around these boulders covered in these shells, and there's anemones down at the bottom here. So it's a really pleasant scene. There are some trees above me that are reflecting in the pool that I quite like, to kind of give a hint of what's beyond. But I think my shutter speed might be a bit long to kind of, so you can't really tell what the reflection is. I've also put on a Wolverine case magnetic CPL, just to cut out of the glare, just a little bit, not all of it, just a little bit. Because I really want to saturate the colors, get those nice greens in the water here. It's really quite pleasant. Chilly. Actually, that's one of the reasons why I came up to the North Island, is the rest of the province is having a bit of a heat wave right now. So it's been extremely hot and sunny, and the North Coast was about the only place where it wasn't really hot. So you can always guarantee that it's going to be a bit of a breeze up here and a bit cooler. And sometimes if you get really hot conditions, you get fog in here, because of course you've got the cool air coming from the ocean, but that hasn't happened yet. So this is what I pretty much came for, is these sand patterns here. They're just absolutely fantastic. And what I really like about this one is that we have these kind of, it's like a web of patterns going down the sand, where the water courses of, where the tide's gone back out, it's created these really cool patterns. But then there's a transition where the sand gets quite ripply. So I'm going to try and see if I can get a shot of not only just the patterns in the sand here, but also the ripples as well, because it's such a neat transition or contrast. What I have found, because it's quite cloudy today, if I put a polarizer on, it really helps a lot, really brings out the contrast. So good reason to use a polarizer in this case. I guess there's quite a bit of glare on the sand here. This is a lot of fun. So these ripples here have a layer of water that kind of breaks them up a little bit. And the conditions today are quite nice because we have these puffy clouds and it's quite windy, so the clouds are moving through quite fast. So we have blue sky and then the clouds. As you can see, the exposure keeps changing. But I'm getting the clouds reflected in these pools of water with these little sand patterns, so it makes for some really interesting photography. Now I must admit, it seems to work better when I'm in the shade and the clouds are in bright sunshine, which doesn't take very long to wait for. But the nice thing is that the compositions keep changing. Every image is different because the clouds are moving so fast. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, if you enjoy the content of my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And lastly, if you want to support my channel in other ways, I do have a number of Quiet Light hats for sale and my 2 books, Antarctica and Quiet Light. All right, folks, until next time, bye-bye.